My mother was an amateur artist, so I got more interested in it because of that, and I did well in school and in art. So, and I guess I was fortunate enough that my parents didn't say, no, you have to do this. So I think that was an opportunity so every time you get an opportunity, you have to take it.
Is there any artists that have influenced you, and if there are, what aspects of them have caught your attention?
All kinds of artists, it goes back to her question. So it's like what you like from different people. As artists, I think you are allowed to take what you like. What I respond to is what visually looks really intense, and then you try to figure out how did that person make it. Or I don't try to get too sort of caught up in how stuff was actually fabricated or made.
How do you want people to leave after seeing your work?
Excited, emotional, inspired, maybe if you guys want to be artists, you want to go back and make something. And if you come back, that's a great thing. So that means something made you come back,
How do you decide what material to use in your sculptures? Because I think that a lot of the sculptures use cork, if I'm correct. So how do you come to that kind of conclusion?
I like to experiment with different materials, and for a long time I've been using found materials. So the earlier work, I used to actually do two-dimensional work. So, but I also used to use collage on my two-dimensional when I was in graduate school. And then I started to make sculpture after I finished grad school. So I got into buying a lot of cheap materials or finding materials. I went to school in New York, and in the city you can find so much stuff. People just put out stuff. So you can decorate your whole apartment, which I did, so you can find tables and chairs and beds and whatever. And you also find other stuff. So then I started collecting a lot, and I started using cork not that long ago, and that was also something that I found in a store. I figured, I'll see what I do with it, and then I ended up gluing it together. When I ran out of some cork, then I added styrofoam to it. So there's a lot of when I don't have something, then I look for something to replace it with. And so that opens up to a lot of materials. Clay is also something that I didn't realize till a long time ago that I never thought I could model, because I never tried it. So when I did try it, it was really nice to use, and I achieved a certain effect which I liked, so I continued with that. I basically, didn't have much money earlier on, so it all depended on how I could make something with the cheapest materials. Then even when I was a painter, I was painting on wood or on found surfaces, and that sort of went through different styles of painting that I liked. And then when I was in grad school, I started to use fabric instead of canvas. And I was using things like feathers and store-bought objects or different kinds of collage. So, but I was still working on the wall, and then I got more and more interested in cheap materials and the effects that you can get by making a slight change. And when I had a studio of my own outside of grad school, I started to experiment more with that, and eventually there were things that were coming from they were sort of going onto the floor. And then after that, I just said, well, why don't I just make stuff that is not connected to the wall? And because I think I had an aptitude for it, or an interest in it. It just didn't dawn on me till then that I prefer to make three-dimensional objects. But then I went back to making drawings. So the more mediums you can add. I never did photography before, but then I started to do that. I didn't work in bronze before, but then, so whatever comes your way.
What allows you to find the inspiration and the clarity to begin a new piece? Is there something environmentally that you find helps, or is there something that you do that helps with that process?
the kind of work I make. I don't start out with some kind of specific event or idea or something that I'm trying to illustrate, or theory or something like that. Mine is more an exploration, and it's just what goes from one sculpture to the next to the next, you know. So I guess I would say I'm always inspired. So.